Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with my partner, as always, Mr. Tate Mathews. And Tate, you dubbed it last week, I think. We're right in the heart of, in the middle of, WCS Spring Fling.
WCS Spring Fling. Hot and heavy at its peak. Got a lot to talk about today. I'm excited.
We do, and I would argue, I think, in Memphis, they talk about the city championship in basketball. They almost view it as more important than the state tournament.
Correct.
Except
this year.
We're not quite there with, that has a lot of meanings, by the way. We're not quite there with WCS Spring Fling, but let's face it, it's pretty strong now, the WCS version.
Well, I think so. I mean, tennis, pretty good chance state champs coming out of it. Boys soccer, pretty good chance. Track, girls track, pretty good chance. Baseball, softball.
Well, and the reason I mention it,
who do we not have a shot in?
Not to totally pat ourselves on the back, but that's what this show's about. We're promoting WCS.
It's not bragging if it's
That's
true.
right. That's right. Just stating the facts. I would argue, for tennis, for example, it's harder most years to win the district than it is the state tournament.
I agree. Well, and yeah, I agree.
These are facts, right?
Facts.
So, anyway. Now, in basketball, Memphis, we give you credit, but we like the current version where we all get to go play. And
keep doing that.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, Tate, before we move on, I know you had a chance to meet with Coach for the last couple of days. Big hire out of Brentwood, Troy Bond, 6 years at Oakland, Wilson Central before that. He's now the boys basketball coach at Brentwood High School. He brings over 400 wins. He brings 6 trips to the state tournament to WCS. What a great hire for Brentwood.
Great hire. I know they're very excited. He already had a team meeting with him. He was very excited after meeting the young men that were there. Can't wait to start coaching them, and they were excited about what he had to say. So I think it's pretty cool. Six trips to the state tournament. There's some really good coaches out there that never made it once. He's been 6. Thing I think is pretty cool. You're one of them. Not many people go to the state tournament. Not many people take 2 different programs to the state tournament. He did that, 4 at Wilson Central, 2 at Oakland. You did that at Beach and Franklin. Again, you're not going to brag on yourself, but I mean, there ain't a whole lot of people who've done that, right? That's tough to do.
Well, in my case, it's the old saying, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Well, yeah, and Jimmy's and Joe's beat X's and O's. Right?
I'll say this now about Coach Bond. I think fairly soon, and certainly before his time ends at Brentwood, he'll be one of the very few that can say 3 programs to the state tournament.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I feel confident in that.
Oh, I do too. Well, Coach Shirley went to 2. I thought, we talked about that. He went to 2 in 6 years, Coach Shirley. Coach Bond went to 2 in 6 years at Oakland, which is not easy to do. I think sometimes we take that for granted. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, this is a program that expects to go to the state tournament, and he's not coming down here to get 3rd place and, get a game day T-shirt or something as a parting prize.
Even though game day T-shirts are awesome,
they're very hot.
It's not the reason that
I saw one in Walgreens the other day. It was awesome. And then I saw another one.
What do you mean? Somebody wearing it in Walgreens?
Yeah, it was a kid. It was a former student.
It's great.
And then there was a guy. He was doing some sort of landscaping. I believe he looked like he was out of school, and he had one in Firehouse Subs. So it's pretty funny. It was actually the Battle of 840. It was a Battle of 841. But here's what I'd like to know from you, because I thought this was pretty cool. Here's another thing he's going to do. He coached in non-AAA for 14 years. You all had all those battles, Mount Juliet and Beach and Wilson Central. He's been in 7A, Blackman and Siegel, and now he's coming to 11 AAA. Those are the 3 toughest. All of them claim to be the toughest district in the state, and some years they probably are. He's now going to be in all 3 of them. Great basketball district.
No, that's a great point. Those are 3 really good districts, and those districts are ones that have had great coaches, and they've had a lot of winning. So that's an interesting take.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
No, that's a great take.
So you know him very well. I know he's going to get here and evaluate his talent. But what can the Brentwood faithful expect from a Troy Bond coach team?
Number one, they're going to be tough. There's that toughness. His teams, you can always say, listen, regardless of their talent level, they're going to play with great toughness. Likes to play a little zone, switches his zone up a little bit. It's got a little bit different looks, but he told me one time that it's all based on 1-3-1 principles, whether it looks like a 3-2 or a 1-2-2 or whatever it looks like. So he'll do a good job with that. And his teams, and I always think this is a good sign of a good coach, is whatever their plan is, they're going to be able to execute it. They're going to have a plan for what they're going to do, not only to stop you, but what they need to do to score. Sometimes it's not always really, really elaborate, but I don't think that matters. They're going to be well-versed at what they do. They're going to be confident in doing it. The folks at Brentwood and WCS are going to enjoy watching his teams play.
And he's got some good young ones coming.
He does.
Got some good older ones coming back, but the cupboard was not bare for sure.
No doubt. Hey, let's talk a little baseball. So now I'm going to have you join me in being the inept picker of games in baseball. So, and I apologize for this to our viewers. Last week I was just talking about it's 3 versus 6, it's Summit versus, and the bracket wasn't even right. Now, listen, if you go back and watch the show, I got some information from what I consider to be a very reliable source. But the bracket wasn't like we had talked about.
Right.
But I would say this.
It's jacked up is what you're saying.
Yes. Going into the district tournament, would you have said this?
No.
That Brentwood, Summit, and Ravenwood are going to collectively go 1-6 in the tournament?
And Brentwood won the one, right?
Yes.
I mean, no, I wouldn't have. I'd have taken the bet for sure. I think I'm on record as saying I thought Ravenwood and Brentwood were going to go 1-2, just like, Ravenwood was going to win the district tournament just like the district regular season. So, no, I wouldn't have guessed that. I think it's cool, man. That's part of, like we talked about, it's a tournament sport and shows how deep this league is, conferences, district. But no, I would not have guessed that. I would have taken that bet for sure.
Did you?
And I think all those coaches would have too.
No doubt. Did you happen to look at the seeding of the three teams remaining at the taping of the show?
It's 5, 6, 7, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the favorite on paper would be the 5 seed, right. Franklin. But again, it does show that depth. And Franklin, they're playing better now.
You were way off on the regular season, but I will give you credit. You said don't sleep on Franklin in the tournament. They got a chance.
Got it going over at the shipyard.
They still are. Tip of the cap to Coach Joins on that.
Well, hey, some people would say I'm a Franklin homer. I wouldn't totally agree with that. Just like last week we determined that you were sort of a Ravenwood homer here lately.
No. We did not determine that. You did.
Hey, let's talk Ravenwood. So they lost to Page and Spring Hill, which again was very surprising. Summit lost to Indy and Dixon County. Brentwood gets a win over Dixon, but then they lose to Independence and Spring Hill. So our winner's bracket final ended up being Independence and Franklin. Great pitchers duel, which is kind of surprising that late in the tournament because the arms start, you have to start going to maybe not your top guys. But Mason Schwartz of Franklin, Ben Cleaver of Independence. In the 6th inning, Drew Blaylock drives in Logan Molnar for Independence to break a 0-0 tie. Franklin now has the tall task of having to beat Dixon, and then the winner of that game has to turn around and beat Indy twice. So advantage Indy at this point, but based on our history, it's probably Dixon County that's going to win.
Yeah, that's right. Coach Palace is laughing as we speak. That's a lot of pitches, and Dixon County, if it is Dixon County, it could be Franklin. Either one of those two, they're going to have a lot of arms, and I'd be surprised if they got that many. It's a lot of games, a lot of pitches.
You start seeing it in that Dixon game. What happens? Dixon is up, I think it was 12-5 maybe in the last inning. Spring Hill scores 6 runs. Again, I didn't go watch that game, but I'm assuming the pitching was getting a little thin.
Right.
Not only the 6 runs, but the 23 runs total score. So you never know. But let's go ahead and say, let's make a prediction just to see if we can get back on the horse here a little bit. So who's going to come out as the winner of those 3?
Well, I'm going with Independence, but I hope I'm not jinxing you.
Well, I guess I am too, so we really didn't conclude anything. But I just think it's interesting that next week we might be going, okay, we missed it.
And those games got to be done by Friday too, right?
Yes.
So that's going to be 3 games in 3 days.
Well,
3 days.
it's actually scheduled to be done day before. I think they've got an extra day in case we've got rain. So there'd be.
So will they play a double header on?
Yes, that's right.
Oh man, Independence. Coach McClory might be going back.
Yes, they'll play.
Don't sleep on Coach McClory now.
No doubt. They'll play that Dixon Franklin, then the winner will turn right back around. And then if they happen to beat Indy, they play the next day.
That's it. Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
So not a great setup for those teams, but that's why you get through the winners bracket.
Still in it.
Hey, let's talk a little Fairview. I know we've been talking a lot of Fairview baseball this year, but they defeated Stewart County 13-0 after wins over Hickman and Waverly. Shout out to Dr. Qualls in Hickman County for the 6-0 loss to Fairview.
Hey, do you think they were streaming that game live at the Skyview Country Club?
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
My man DP was down there watching it.
No doubt, no doubt. Winning pitcher Thomas Langford, he had 7 strikeouts. He also went 2 for 3 from the plate. Lance Howell, 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. Zach Lampley, the same in terms of RBIs. Hunter Davis, 2 for 4 with a home run, 5 RBIs in that 13-0 win. They play Stewart County. They win that game. They'll play Lewis County in the championship. Again, great job, Coach Grigali down there at Fairview. Doing a great job.
Getting it done. I think they definitely.
You know, I just like saying
Nico Grigali.
I love that, man. It's like the best name.
Yes.
Love it.
He is what is it called when you go number 1 from pole to pole? In like football or basketball.
Yes.
He is the all-name team, number 1 spot.
No doubt.
From beginning to end. I think they get to that Lewis County game. I don't know enough about Lewis County, but they'll get to the Lewis County game. It'd be pretty awesome to get a district tournament title there. That program is definitely on the rise up. And I think it's cool, too. You see it a lot in softball, but Thomas Langford with the 7 strikeouts, then going 2 for 3 from the plate. You don't always see that as much in baseball. Pretty cool. I like
it is. And Tate, how about Nolensville and Coach Hudson? I know you're on the Coach Hudson and Nolensville train. They just had a tough game against Giles, but district championship.
District championship. This is the plan. Got a process. They're building. He always wants to be playing his best baseball come tournament time. Don't worry about the regular season losses. I'm telling you, we might have a state championship coming out of Nolensville.
I like when you talk that way. And speaking of guys who pitch and hit, Ethan McIlvain gets the walk-off RBI single in the championship to beat Giles County. Tyler Hummel pitched 5 innings, gave up 1 run on 2 hits. Deacon Wimmer, pronounced like winner, ironically, gets the win in relief.
That's strong.
Hey, listen, I do a lot of prepping here, talking to myself in the mirror, seeing if that.
Making sure that Adidas logo is straight.
Now, that does happen. Thank you to Mr. Producer for helping me out on that.
What about McIlvain, man? He's
tough.
a sophomore.
He's tough.
He's been on fire this year.
Yeah, no
Big
doubt.
time player.
No doubt. Let's move to softball. Summit, so it's a little bit more like we expected, at least so far. Summit gets the 1-0 win over Spring Hill. They've advanced to the winners bracket final versus top-seeded Dixon. Dixon defeated Page 5-1 in the other semi. Still alive, we've got Page versus Brentwood, Franklin versus Spring Hill. That's the losers bracket, so to speak. So those 4 teams still alive, but obviously the winner of Summit and Dixon, they're going to be in the driver's seat to win the tournament.
Yep, and felt pretty strongly Dixon would be there. Thought Summit, especially towards the end of the year, the way they were playing, it was going to be them. So no surprises there. I hope Summit can get them. They didn't get them in the regular season, did they? But that's okay. Let's get them here. Host a home sectional. They did get
Dixon's
them.
only loss
to Summit
was to Summit.
Good.
That's right.
Let's make it 2.
That's right. Hey, let's talk a little soccer. Nolensville loses to Murfreesboro Central 3-0. Page wins over Spring Hill 2-0 in the other semifinal. Congratulations, Coach Nathan Clapp of Page High School in that semifinal. And it's great to get a significant win, but to get it in such a big matchup, that win over Spring Hill was win number 150, and now they play for the championship against Murfreesboro Central.
Yep. Great accomplishment, especially in soccer. 150 is not easy to get to.
Yeah, we talked about that because then I was going to give a shout out here to Coach Caceres over there at Centennial, looking at the year they had. You know, there was a write-up in the paper about how, and by the way, this is this week's gem. Centennial, for the first time in 7 years, makes the district semifinals. Now, they end up losing to Franklin, but my point going back to Coach Clapp, follow me here. I know
I'm with you.
It's a long trail I'm on.
I know where you're going.
Hey,
You don't play 30 games.
that's right. Centennial, hey, good year. It's something to build on, and their record was 7-4-2. Now, it's hard to get to 150 when you have years where you win 7.
Correct.
So, great
and
job.
not to steal Coach Clapp's thunder, rewind a few weeks, Coach P has 300.
Wow.
I said, Coach, what does that mean? He goes, it means I'm really old.
So I'm going to agree with him. It means he's old, but it means he can coach.
That's right, no doubt.
Now, speaking of Coach Purcell, we had the two infamous battles that we always have. The Battle of Franklin.
Oh, you mean the Battle of Franklin's?
That's great. I like it. Not only what you said, but how you said it. That's great. We'll start doing that. Franklin wins 3-1 over Centennial. Again, Centennial's a young team. They start several freshmen. In fact, Centennial scored a goal by Eli Fernando Schuff.
He's on the all-name team.
He definitely is. Wire-to-wire finisher, maybe.
Yes. That's it, wire-to-wire.
Wire-to-wire. Scores in the first 8 minutes. So, if you've watched soccer, because you can sort of change your strategy now and play a little bit more protective and defensive. Right. Franklin hung right in there, had some shots on goal, end up with goals from Benji Wright. He had 2. Jack Shields had 1. By the half, Franklin's up 2-1, ended up finishing it off. But again, a great matchup. Coach Caceres there at Centennial, they're on the uptick too. Even though they got beat, they lost to a very good Franklin team, the number 2 seed. But I know Centennial's excited about the future.
Very excited, and if kind of like some other programs over there, they've got the structure. They've had a lot of coaching turnover. Need Coach Caceres to stay, keep building on what we're doing, and the next step will come. They'll be in a district final before you know it.
The other semifinal matchup, the Battle of the
Wood.
Brentwood 3-1 over Raven. It was a great matchup.
Always is.
I had the luxury of sort of watching both. I've slipped over to baseball, which is on Ravenwood's campus. Coach Elrod and the gang doing a good job out there managing the different activities going on. So I got to watch a little baseball, slip down to soccer, watch some of that too. But man, what a competitive, great contest. 2 really good teams. It's hard to believe when you watch that Ravenwood's the 4th best team in the league, when in reality, put them in any other league, maybe in the state, they either win it or at least they become a representative out of that district. They lose in the semis, and really a great team. But now they're out.
It's tough. It's kind of like being in the SEC. I'm glad you said that. I was going to say that. You saw it. You witnessed it. Anybody who doesn't think soccer is a physical sport should have gone and watched that. Go watch Brentwood and Franklin, right?
That's right.
I mean, in the right way, but physical. Tough fought win. This Brentwood team's special, but it was a tough fought win. They know each other so well, and a physical game. Coach P told me on text that at times he felt like he was watching a rugby game, and you have to kind of like you did back in basketball. You like a Troy Allen team, you might know it's going to be, or a Wirt team, it's going to be lower scoring. You're going to have to tough it out. They're going to try to bring you all down to it. It's the same thing. You got to adjust your style. So that's the thing I like about this Brentwood team. They, Franklin's high. They're almost like the air raid, right? They took care of that. Ravenwood was more physical game. They took care of that. I think this Brentwood team's got a chance to go all the way.
Hey, listen, I don't, on this show, I step out on some limbs every once in a while. I'm going to step out on a limb and say that Brentwood and Franklin, they'll also play in the region final. I mean, I think that's...
That one, I think, would be safe. I thought you were going to say state championship.
No, if I'm being...
You step...
Yeah, that's not really stepping out.
I don't know you stepped out on the limb. I think you looked...
Actually, just a logical thing to say. Ravenwood in that matchup, goal by Travis Bourne. And for Brentwood, Aiden Parker, Connor Greer, and a name we keep saying when it comes to scoring, Ollie Joyner.
Stud.
Tough, man. Really tough. Hey, here's something I wanted to mention. Let's talk a little track.
Love it.
Fairview, and this is from and Coach Phillips actually said this is he sent out a message and said it was the first time they had placed as a team this high, basically. The girls win it, and the boys finish second. So, listen, what's a common theme this year?
First.
That's right. It's Fairview. Fairview.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's an exciting place to be right now in terms of competitiveness.
Well, and you can sit in the community, go and look at how Fairview has changed in the last 10 years. Same thing with the school, man. They're just going to keep getting better and better.
And listen, I'm a big fan of Coach Bubba Derrick.
You're a huge fan. You might be the president of
I might be, of the fan club. I think a lot of it has to do with him. Because, and listen, Coach Hughes, another guy who's been a mainstay out there, got those kids believing in themselves, doing well. But that tasting the state championship win, because it's not like this year was the only year. They've been knocking on the door, right? I think this is going to lead to even more big-time wins for Fairview.
Oh, I do too. And remember, did Coach McCoy lose anybody off the basketball team? I don't think he did.
He's got a lot of good young players. Pendergrass, but he's got some young players that are really tough.
They're going to be good. Exciting time to be a Yellow Jacket.
Listen, here's what I'd say about Fairview, and I think the folks at Fairview, I've got a lot in common with them. I'm from a smaller town, but a wise man from a smaller town told me one time, he was talking about shooting in basketball, and I would say this about winning. It's like the jar of olives. Sometimes it's hard to get that first one out, but once you do, they start flowing. So what I'm saying, the championships could be just flowing now that they finally, it took them a while. They got that first one out with that state championship win in wrestling. Look out for Fairview.
I'm with you. I'm on board with it.
Now, again, we know our Alyssa, Andrea, right? That was individual. I'm talking team titles too.
Yep.
Hey, here's in the category of the more things change, the more they stay the same. In the region championship, Brentwood, boys and girls, with impressive wins in track. Not a surprise, right?
Quit playing around. No, not a surprise, especially not in girls. The only thing that I thought was a little surprising on the boys' side was not that Franklin finished number 2, but they closed. Only finished second place by 14.
That's right. Good observation there. Because on the girls' side, it's like 137.
Yeah, that's not even close.
Ravenwood had 89. And if you look, I think that was an 18 team event. 18 team event. Say that.
18 team event.
Say it one time. On the girls' side, the lowest we had anybody finish was 9th, which is pretty good. So
yes.
When you're taking a look at our schools and like, oh, the worst we did was still in the top 10. Pretty darn good. Again, Brentwood winning, Ravenwood second, Franklin, Nolensville, Summit, Indy, Page, Centennial, rounding out the top 9. Boys' side, as you mentioned, Franklin with 99 total points behind Brentwood at 113. And then there's a gap there.
Yes.
So Franklin sort of distanced themselves. Third place Ravenwood only was 74. So maybe that's turning into a 2-team race.
I think it is for sure. But really a 1 team.
And your man, James Patrick,
Stud.
at Franklin. Love that guy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We got a bunch of them, man. We're going to dominate the field events, and we've gotten to where we really dominate the relays. Are we going to have a 100-meter champion ever? Yeah, sometime we will, but probably it's not going to happen very much. 200-meter? Nah. We'll win the 400, 1600, 32. We're going to win the relays, dominate the field events, point them to death.
Listen, I know Dr. Qualls would be pro this. We made it to take game day. Now that, things are opening up, we're outside. We take that thing down to Spring Fling. It'd be the 3 of us and maybe nobody there watching. But
no, they'd be watching, especially our old buddy up in Gallatin.
But where would we set up would be the problem. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
I think they ought to put us right by the high jump pit, man.
It'd be great.
It'd be unreal.
It'd be great. Maybe that's something to look into for the future.
I would love it.
Hey, last but not least, let's talk a little bit about tennis. The boys' individual championships, which that means when you're talking individual championships, you're talking singles and doubles. You're not competing as a team anymore. Doniphan Janisic of Brentwood defeated Patrick Delves from Ravenwood in the finals. On the doubles side, the team of Stone and Eisenhower of Ravenwood defeated the team of Davis Eastham of Ravenwood. So it was an all Ravenwood final. On the girls' side, Lisa Messier from Franklin defeated Grace Stout of Ravenwood. Doubles, the team of Messier and Bear of Franklin defeated Huddleston and Huddleston of Brentwood. Now, here's something.
That sounds like a law firm.
This is something that's really interesting. The region individual championships, which are taking place at Centennial, it's the exact same finals. Once again, going back to my earlier point, getting out of our district
is the toughest.
It's the toughest.
Yeah. You're a tennis fan.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Doubles does not get the credit. I love watching doubles tennis.
Doubles is exciting.
Yeah.
I think the knock on doubles sometime has been, although I think this is changing, especially on the men's side or the boys' side at this level, is the points they're too quick and the serving team dominates too much.
Yeah.
I think that's changed a little bit over time. It's not such a dominated sport by the serving team, but yeah, it is. It can be fun for sure.
Yes, exciting, fun to watch.
We also have the regional team championships coming up. It'll be Hume Fogg at Franklin. On the girls' side, Hillsborough at Ravenwood. Again, I'm going to step out again. I'm feeling,
Sweep.
I just think, it'll probably be Franklin and Ravenwood again. You think that's probably the case?
There's a good chance there will be a boat captain sighting next week in the tennis segment.
Listen, I'm WCS, right? I'm in. If I ever tried to apply for a job in Dixon County, it'd be over.
Yeah.
We'd have to, I'm not going to do that, Mr. Producer, but if I did, let's get rid of the tape.
You can't go to Dixon, and Qualls can't go to Giles County. He was always on Giles County, man.
Well, I've heard the rumor is they won't let him back in Hickman, but I don't know if that's real or maybe just something I feel. You think that's true?
No, man. Isn't he like member 47 at the Skyview Country Club?
Probably is. Probably higher than that, actually. Listen, we have to remind Dr. Qualls, we kid because we care.
He's our man.
He is our man. We're keeping the name alive.
He's the GOAT.
We are keeping his name alive.
No doubt about it.
Again, another wise man told me, said, hey, look, before you start thinking everybody's going to remember you from now on, he said, it's kind of like when you leave, it's kind of like when you take a big rock and throw it out in a lake and it makes this big splash. That's what happens when you first leave, and then it kind of settles out.
Yeah.
It's over.
15 seconds later, they never knew. Is this the same man?
Yes.
Yeah. He's got a bunch of them.
He's got a bunch of them. Need to write a book.
That's
Tate,
right.
as always, great
Exciting
to be here
time,
with
man.
you. Wilco's right around the corner. We will be naming finalists very soon.
Had a meeting with John Street, a straight tuxedo earlier in the week.
That's right.
He's bringing his A game. I can't wait. I am
is.
excited. Red carpet. Whew.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you as always for joining us for Sports Connection, and we'll see you next time.